Hi guys, and welcome to the State of Crypto, your one-stop for all crypto-related news. I'm your host Martin, and this is episode 23. Free XRP, Libra backers quitting, and Ethereum tokens at risk. Now, thank you guys for tuning in today, Saturday night. Thank you for watching, and remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This is all for entertainment and education purposes only. Please do your own research before you invest or purchase any cryptocurrency or digital asset. Now, if you are watching this stream live, welcome. And if you're catching the replay and have any suggestions, please make sure you leave us a comment below. Right now, if you want to keep up to date with the latest crypto-related news, make sure you subscribe. You hit that like button and that bell so you're notified when we go live. If you're watching us again and you still have not subscribed, do it now. Take that second. Go to that little button and hit subscribe. It'll feel good. Now, if you want to keep on chatting with us once the stream is done, you can do so by joining our Discord. The link's in the description. Class is in session. Guys, now on to the news. Some of the backers, right, for Facebook, they're thinking about basically backing out, quitting, apparently because they have been getting pressure from regulators. Now, according to a report from the Financial Times, 3 of the firms which were not disclosed expressed concerns over being linked with or associated with the project, right, by basically watchdogs around the world who raised concerns about the potential threat to financial stability. Now, the European Union was recently reported to have opened a movement to investigate Libra association over potential antitrust issues. Now, in the US, lawmakers have called for Libra to be halted until regulatory issues have been addressed, right? So right now things are looking a little bit bleak for Libra. We need to wait for more news to develop and see how these regulatory issues they're facing basically clear out. Antitrust is going to be a big issue, particularly if we remember what happened with Facebook a couple of years ago when a lot of information was disclosed, right? Or they were selling private information, etc. Now, on to the next bit of news, and this is pretty good news, right? South Korean exchange BitThumb will have a new committee starting in September that will monitor the markets and decide which cryptocurrencies are feasible to trade online. Now, the factors that the committee will consider include daily trading volume, change in base market, and project support, and, well, others, right? But these will be the main ones. Now, this step was taken after some unauthentic coins were put into the trading list, and then they basically underperformed, right? They fell in their performance. We previously reported on something similar, but it was regarding Binance, right? And let me do something here with the music. I think it's a little bit loud. I think this volume might be a little bit better. Anyways, like I was saying, right? We reported on something like this for Binance, where Binance US particularly, they were setting some people to, wow, that was ambulance. Anyway, they were setting a committee for them to analyze which of the coins they were going to list. They had 30 that they were analyzing, and then basically they were setting up guidelines for the new coins to be listed, things they wanted to look at and check, right? Now, this is good because that means that coins that will be listed on these exchanges are going to basically be safe bets, right? We're not going to find any, what can we call it, any scam coins or any weird coins that will underperform. Basically, whoever gets listed will have a legit project that has a good team behind it and a good idea and maybe support from a community, and those things are good. I mean, it's going to be good for the exchanges to start implementing these committees to determine whether or not a coin is listed. Now, being that people are behind these committees, they could be targets for bribes so that coins get listed or projects get pushed through. However, that's just speculation, right? Now, on to total market cap. Market cap, right? Yesterday, down. Remember, yesterday closed 2 hours ago. Yesterday down 256.9 billion, 2.14% down. Right now, going down also at 255 billion, negative 0.68%, right? That's where we're sitting at on market cap. Now, market cap. Now let's go to Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin yesterday lost dominance, right? 0.30% from an opening of 69.75, closing at 69.54. Right now, sitting at 69.53, which puts it at 0.02% down. It's almost nothing. The day's just starting, like we said. This could go down farther or start maybe retracing a little bit. Contraction on the Bollinger Bands, but we don't do analysis on market cap or coin dominance. So we're just going to move on to the news. On Bitcoin news, I only found this article, right? And it's something that we kind of covered in an earlier episode, and we're just going to touch it very lightly. Now, the other day we mentioned that the US has started to blacklist certain addresses which were believed to be linked with criminal activity, primarily drug trafficking, right? Now, these addresses were Bitcoin and Ethereum addresses. Apparently, some Litecoin addresses are now also in the picture. And all this is being done under the Kingpin Act, right? I'll try to put a link up here somewhere so you can watch that article. And, you know, the Kingpin Act, right? Sounds like that Marvel villain, the Kingpin. Anyways, back to the news, right? Chart. We're going to go look at Bitcoin right now on a couple of different charts, right? This is the main chart. We're still in the downtrend, still between the 50% and the 75% lines of the equidistant channel we have traced. Still down sloping. Anyways, that's the main picture, right? On to smaller or better pictures, right? We've said we found this support, making this a potential triangle that we're trading. We can see that we touched the upper part of the triangle being rejected. Now, on the RSI, we're sitting a bit lower than 50, but not over sold. We're sitting at 43.9. Momentum starting to stagnate a little bit, right? And that's about it. Bollinger Bands volatility is still open. Now let's go look at the 4 hour and see what's going on. On the 4 hours, right? We made a little bit of positive momentum. Nothing to push us really high. However, we can see that we go down and touch that bottom part of this upsloping structure that gives us this triangle, right? And we said that we could bounce off it, and we have, meaning that we're not breaking that structure yet. RSI momentum starting to make negative momentum. However, seems to be a little bit small amount of negative momentum, right? Almost nothing. We could turn it up and then start making positive momentum and maybe see some correction to the upside. However, we might be faced with this resistance, and we'll see how much it holds. Right now supported by the bottom line, as we said, and RSI sitting low around 44.44. Now onto the 1 hour, and here's where we're going to play it out on this other chart, right? Because also that same trend line, that upsloping part of the trend line, happens to coincide with this curve that we traced, right? That has been cradling us. And we touched it, right? And we went up. Now, what happened on the 4 hour? Same thing happening, right? Nothing different here. But let's go on the 1 hour. During yesterday's static video and stream, we covered this chart and we said what we thought might happen. Now, we said that we were breaking up on news of the China placing tariffs on the U.S., right? That was yesterday's stream. We said we could go down. We were here yesterday. Yeah, we did go down. We touched it. We touched that line. When the static video came out, we had not touched it yet. But we touched it, respected it, and used that neckline as support. We went up a little bit. Then around 9, at the time of the stream, we had not touched it yet. We went down, touched it again, and touched the 20 MA, which we said we could also touch and was fine as well. And no problem. We touched it not once, 2, 3 times, and then we actually broke out of the 20 MA, and we broke down, right? And we said we could go down and touch that bottom part of the cradle, which we also did. And, well, we rejected it, starting to go up in price, right? A little bit of momentum, then going down again. But remember, if we have a pull, right, a bear pull, and we start consolidating upwards, that is not good, because that means we could break down to the downside again, right? Which we could, because we're starting to decrease momentum. We are sitting almost neutral on the RSI, which would give us room to run down in the 1 hour, and we could go back and touch this resistance again, this support, again, which I wouldn't really like very much, because we've been touching it often, right? It will be touching it too often and giving us more chance to break towards the downside, and it's not good. Right, on the overall, we are flagging on the bigger picture, right? If we go to the daily, let's say this would be a flag, right? And that's good. That's healthy for consolidation, right? Nothing to worry about. potential to break to the upside on the macro, but on the micro right now, it looks like we're gonna have maybe a downward movement, and if we get those many of those micro downward movements, it could end up making a snowball effect where everyone or everything will go down. Right, that's all I have right now for Bitcoin. We're gonna move on to Ethereum news. Now, Ethereum, Binance suggests that the Ethereum scalability issues are giving other blockchains maybe a chance to catch up and support their own tokens standards. Right now, Ethereum is still the go-to token for creating the go-to blockchain to create new tokens. However, those scalability issues have led to other problems such as slow transaction times and high gas fees. We already talked about this previously, and we said that even Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, was saying that these problems were real and that they were facing them, right? That it was saturated already. Now, Ethereum currently has the highest number of tokens running on its own blockchain, so they can basically say it out loud. We are the biggest token maker, right? And that's probably a problem, right? Because Binance also saying that many of these tokens are worthless. Like, given that there's the cost of issuance and the cost of deployment and the smart contracts, they incur in a lot of gas fees, right? Now, many of the useless tokens are basically spam that are clouding up the network and just making things slow. So maybe I get why they gave freedom to make tokens, right? But maybe they should have been a little bit more selective as to which tokens got made. It's a open, let's say it's like open source, right? Anyone can make a token. Now, is it good? Is it bad? Right now, it's not that good, right? It's making the network be congested. Now, for those of you who might not know what we talk about when we say gas, basically gas is the fuel for Ethereum, right? Now, think about it as a unit of measurement that defines the amount of processing effort required to execute any given action on the Ethereum network, right? That processing power has a cost. That cost, that's gas, right? That's what it is. Now onto the Ethereum chart. Sorry, we didn't say price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin sitting at 10,079, right? Onto Ethereum on the daily. Dominance on Ethereum yesterday. Good dominance, right? Increased dominance a little bit. 0.53% right now, losing dominance 0.25%. Basically, we are sitting below the 8% that we set for Ethereum at 7.84, which is not bad, it's not good, but we don't want to be losing dominance, right? We want to dominate more for the coin to have more action and more be able to sustain better to whatever changes Bitcoin brings to the table. Right? If you're playing like in a market, right? Any market, whoever has the biggest dominance controls what happens within the market. So the sentiment translates to everyone else. And if you're bigger, you might have a bit better chance of standing up to that sentiment and being able to do your thing a little bit more before you actually break down and follow everyone else within that market. That's why dominance is important. Now, we're going to look at the price, Ethereum. I don't want to call this a triangle because both of the lines are sloping. It's more likely a wedge, but let's call it a triangle, right? This broadening channel that we have, we touched it, went down, nothing much going on. Momentum, positive momentum, whatever little positive momentum we made was stagnant. And having a sort of wedge, downsloping wedge after an impulse down is good because that's bullish and could break to the upside. However, we need to see how this develops. We're getting to that final part of the structure, and we haven't been able to explode. Sitting low in the RSI at 39 gives us some room to run to the downside, right? But however, we have much more potential to run to the upside. Anyways, on the 4 hours, let's see what's going on. We have divergence. We talked about it. Saw a little bit more positive prices, but not higher. Like I said, we have that resistance. We haven't gone down and touched this bottom line support in a while, right? And we broke out of this downsloping channel on Ethereum. Nothing much going on right now with the coins, right? It seems like we're getting to the end of those triangles, which might lead to something happening tomorrow or maybe early next week, and we'll see where things go from there, right? Anyways, on the 1 hour, contraction of the Bollinger Bands, right? Momentum from positive starting to stagnate, go down toward neutral, and sitting low on the RSI. Not too low, but 44.54. Really, it's very neutral. There's nothing indicating that something violent will happen soon. Contraction of the Bollinger Band still open, not too. I would like to see him close a little bit more before we actually see something. However, let's wait and see what happens. We could. It's gonna be too short of a trend to actually make it, but potential very small upsloping channel. I mean, I wouldn't even call it that right now. I'll just show it for the sake of argument. But if we look at the main or the other main structure, right, it will be here to here and here. So yeah, downsloping channel, much bigger time frame, better indicator, right? But yeah, right now downsloping, still within the other main structure. Nothing much we could do. Nothing else indicating that we're gonna explode to either part of the structure. Now we're gonna go on to Ripple, where the news that maybe some of you want to get, right? How we get free Ripple. Well, that's not this article right now. We're gonna cover another one. Basically, Flipside, the Street and Flipside Crypto have published a new analysis for XRP, and they are basically giving it an A rating, and that's based on the fact that basically the XRapid and the integration with Monogram, right? They're basing most of they're weighted towards that. Now to do this, they base it on 4 factors, which include development behavior, market maturity, user activity, and, well, Flipside's fundamental crypto asset score. This article is very slow. It doesn't state anything else. That's it, right? That's all it is. So, I mean, it's very... I just gave you a smidge of what it is, right? That's it. Nothing else. Now, on to the news you guys want to probably hear, right? How do you get free Ripple? Well, if you use SBIVC, and then this is a really good news for you, right? SBIVC started a campaign in which they're going to distribute XRP coins as gifts to existing and new account holders. Now, I'm not sure what the requirements are to open a new account on SBIVC, but you guys are free to go and check them out. The existing account holders will be able to win up to 200,000 yen worth of XRP, which would be approximately 7,142 XRP right now, which is a pretty good amount. Now, if you're a new account holder, you will be gifted approximately 10,000 yen worth of XRP, which are approximately 35 XRP. It's not a lot, right? $9, $10, right? Depends on what price you look at or when you look at it. Now, that will be soon after the account goes live, right? Now, the new account holders will need to have to open their account with VC Trade to be eligible to win the XRP. The campaign will run for 3 months from the 23rd of August, so yesterday, until the 29th of November. Now, the eligibility criteria for the users that want to be part of this campaign is, or at least for the 1,000 yen, is that they must have a NeoMova account, a VC Trade account open or opening one, and they basically need to fill out the entry form for the on the campaign screen, right? And then you will be able to get out your 35 Ripple approximately, or whatever 1,000 yen worth of Ripple it's at that point in time. Now, hey, it's free Ripple, right? If you want it, go get it. I'm not sure what the requirements are. I'm not gonna go chase 35 Ripple. I might as well just buy them and not go through the hassle of putting all my information on another exchange, having to comply with another KYC, another AIM. You know, for me, it's a hassle. I'll just rather buy $10 and not give my account, or not give my information, or at least not feel like I'm selling my information for $10. You guys are free to do what you want. I mean, it's there. Go take it if you feel like it, right? Now, if you remember a couple of days ago, we covered an article that we didn't go too much into detail because it seemed like it was FUD news. Now, it is true, right? There's this guy who was starting this this petition that now is gaining momentum, which wanted to request Ripple to stop releasing the money of the escrow at the beginning of the month, right? Because they said they were flooding the market with tokens, and that's why we weren't seeing prices go up, right? Now, the petition now has 2,200 people on change.org, and like we said, that's what they want, right? They don't want the money in escrow. Now, Ripple, if you remember, they put 55 billion XRP in escrow. They released 55 different escrow accounts. They released 1 billion every month into the market. Whatever's not used goes back into the escrow and then gets released the next month again. and that's just to have liquidity on the market. They need it for the transactions that they do, right? Especially now that MoneyGram's starting to use it. Probably some of that XRP in the market, it gets eaten up by the MoneyGram transactions with remittances to Mexico, with remittances to the Philippines. So will they stop it? No. So I guess the petition is just, it could gain as much momentum as it wants. Ripple's not gonna do it. Whoever these guys are that are making this petition, whoever started it, whoever's pushing it, is likely got in at a bad time, and they're probably screwed, right? And they want the price of Ripple to go up so that they can cash out, and that's their own agenda that they're trying to push. We don't endorse it. Ripple's gonna do what they want, and what they're doing is good, right? They have adoption, and they have a use case. One of the few tokens, one of the few coins that has a solid project that has a real world use case. So no, Ripple's not gonna drop it, right? Now, onto the Ripple charts. Ripple dominance on the daily. Yesterday, Ripple lost dominance, but gained dominance. It's very little. Went up 0.09% dominance, right? The day before, same thing, like nothing. Anyways, right now it's losing a little bit of dominance, 0.14%. Ripple sitting at 4.46% dominance. Nothing much has changed. We can see that we have 3 days. It just seems like it's basically standstill. However, day's just starting. Let's see, and let's wait and see how it goes. Right now, onto Ripple price. We didn't say Ethereum. Ethereum is sitting at $189.27. Now Ripple sitting at 26 cents or 27, depends on which exchange you look at, but it's very close. 26.983, right? That's a full digit right now. Anyways, things we talked about, right? Divergence hasn't played out yet. We haven't seen higher prices. We're still within the main downsloping channel. Haven't been able to break out. Not even close to the midline, right? Having this downsloping resistance, which we traced, which would put us again downsloping lines on both the support and the resistance equals a wedge, right? And I'll probably do a video explaining what a wedge is, when is a wedge, when is a triangle, etc. I might do something quick before the stream ends, but anyways, on the 4 hours, right? This is what we're looking at. Same divergence hasn't played out, nothing else happening, sitting about medium on the RSI, starting to develop a little bit of negative momentum. Whatever positive momentum we had over here is short-lived. That's about it, man. It seems that at this point in time, it just seems that both buyers and sellers are exhausted and are really not even pushing for it right now. If we decide to ignore this bottom line of the trend, which we could because of contact points that we'll get here, which will be here and here, we could say that then we are in a triangle, right? And triangles are neutral. However, failing to break to the upside, failing to break to the downside, still getting contracted into the small portion. That means that at some point in time we should see an explosion either to the upside or downside, which could be equal to the measure move of the triangles for height, right? From here to here, basically. Yeah, that's it. That's all we have right now for Ripple on the 4 hour. Let's go on the 1 hour. And on the 1 hour, same thing, right? This, where is this? 0.0046, 0.0048. Look, this is not good, right? We are making a lower high, but we are about the same momentum that we were on this higher high. And that could potentially not be good for us. Anyways, here we had this line that we said, this was yesterday's stream, right? And we said we could develop maybe some more divergence. We didn't, so we're going to basically remove it. And this is where we're sitting at, right? Right now, it would seem that things could be bearish for Ripple. And maybe this momentum not going higher and this high not being higher, it's what's making us break to the downside right now on the 1 hour. That's what I would attribute it to, and that's where I'm gonna leave it right now because there's really nothing else going on. It's just it's been very slow these past couple days. We've just been consolidating, moving sideways, some movement up, some movement down, but very little impact right now. If depending on where you trade, the amount of movement that we're seeing wouldn't even justify making a trade right now, because at least in Ripple, because it will get eaten up with the fees, right? So it just depends on where you're trading, and like I said, right now Ripple, not much going on. On to Litecoin. Now, Litecoin news, right? There's some recent data that shows that mining hash rate for Litecoin network dropped 28% since the halving occurred on August the 5th. We covered the halving event. We'll put a link up here in the corner. Now, we said certain things that we believe might happen. Now, data mining pool Bitcoin.com shows that Litecoin mining difficulty was 15.93 million on August 4th and has fallen to 11.40 million as of August 22nd. Now, for those of you that don't know, a hash rate and mining difficulty give an indication of the amount of computer resources being contributed to a cryptocurrency network, which includes securing transactions on the blockchain, right? It basically is how much power you need to confirm transactions. Now, when the mining rewards got cut in half, so miners will not be profitable and they will shut off their machines. And we talked about that. We said it was a possibility. It will cost them, they'll get half of the Litecoin and it will cost them the same, right? So the price would have to increase to double, so they would have the same cost covered. Now, price of Litecoin hasn't gone up to double, so obviously a lot of people are not mining it right now, or at least are decreasing the mining capabilities depending on where they live, how they make their electricity, etc. Will depend whether or not they will mine, right? Now on to Litecoin. Yeah, we talk about price. Okay, so Litecoin on the daily for dominance. Litecoin yesterday lost dominance 0.59%. Right now making positive dominance 0.06%. Litecoin is just 1.78% of the market, so it's very little. It'll just basically do whatever everyone else does, right? Sometimes not even, right? On Litecoin, we didn't call this a double bottom because this is lower than this one. We are within this down sloping wedge also, and within this down sloping channel, which we have not been able to break out. Divergence that we trace is not playing out. We're starting to make a little bit of positive momentum, but not much. Sitting low on the RSI, that's the only thing that would give us hope to break to the upside, because although we are not on oversold territory, we are sitting below the 40, almost at the 35. Yeah, we're at the 35, right? So below the 30, we will be oversold, and then more chances to break to the upside. But right now, we have much more room to run to the upside than to the downside, right? So that's the only thing that we could say is happening, right? And in the overall, that'll be the overall trend right now. On the 4 hours, let's see. Divergence not playing out. It's starting to see a little bit of positive momentum. However, it's decreasing, starting to die out. We saw this little upsloping channel that we traced, broke out of it bearishly. Contraction on the Bollinger Bands. I can't remember if I looked at Bollinger Bands on the daily. Yeah, they're open volatility, right? So movements could happen wildly, and here contraction, right? Starting to see some contraction happening, which could make us explode to the upside or downside. Sitting below the 20 MA on the 4 hours, and yeah, a little bit more neutral on the RSI at 45. Let's look at the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, yeah, nothing much, man. Really, everything's congruent. Sitting around 46 on the RSI, starting to make less positive momentum, starting to decrease, right? Price seems to be, I wouldn't say upward. Yeah, it could be upwards consolidating a little bit, right? Let's look at this here. From here to here, we get a couple touch points, and to here, yeah. We could say we're also in a upsloping channel, as with the other coins that we've seen. So that's where we're at right now. Some contraction starting to happen on the 1 hour Bollinger Bands. However, I can't see a clear indicator in the 1 hour that will break to the upside or the downside right now. We would need more candles to close, so we might be able to see something either on momentum or the RSI that would state otherwise. Now, we didn't find any news for Binance, so we're just gonna jump straight into the chart. This is Binance on the daily. Yesterday it lost some dominance, 0.23%. Right now, making a little bit positive dominance, 0.15%. Sitting at 1.57. Again, very small dominance. Binance is one of those coins that seems to be a little bit more decoupled, because sometimes they do go up when the rest do nothing, and that's because they are an exchange-based token. So basically, a lot of people use them to trade, which is why we might see those contradicting movements, right? Because if you want to get out of Litecoin and you use Binance, you get a better rate. When you exchange using Binance Coin, that's why if you want to get out of Litecoin or any other coin and buy Bitcoin or stable coin or anything that you want to buy, if you use Binance, then everyone would create more demand for Binance, which would give it more volatility on the price, right? Now, Binance, within this down sloping channel that we traced, starting to develop more negative momentum, which could be good, right? We're seeing some divergence develop here, right? Maybe. Right, we are making less momentum, some bullish divergence developing, which could bring us to higher prices. That's what I see on the daily. Bollinger Bands open, still sitting below the 20 MA. RSI sitting low at 39, not too low but low, right? On the 4 hours, let's see. On the 4 hours, we have what? Look at this. On the 4 hours, we are making a lower low, right? But momentum is not there. So this is good signs. Potential move to the upside, right? Sitting below 20 MA, contraction on the Bollinger Band, starting to expand a little bit, nothing too wild. Sitting low on the RSI, right, at 35. And yeah, maybe on the RSI as well, right? It seems like, yeah, it could be, right? So also divergence in the RSI, slightly, but it's there, which could mean price action to the upside, especially sitting lower on the RSI. Let's wait and see. I mean, everything that we do, it depends on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin goes down, we'll go down. If Bitcoin goes up, we'll go up. Likely, right? Very likely. So anyways, guys, this is the 4 hour. Let's go on to the 1 hour real quick and see what's going on the 1 hour. Yeah, this won't be too good, right? Making a higher momentum with a lesser price, right? Some convergence, we don't want it. Anyways, guys, Bollinger Bands contracting. We might see something happen soon, hopefully. Sitting low on the RSI also. Momentum starting to stagnate and go towards a neutral position, sitting at 36 on the RSI. Right, guys, that's all for today. Again, thank you for watching. If you like what we do, like, comment, subscribe. Show this video to your friends. Thank you for being here with us today. Happy Saturday night. Go out, have fun. And again, thank you for watching. Class dismissed.